Hi everyone, Ian from Bristol Ground School here. Welcome to another video in the Cockpit Insights series where I talk about life in the airlines. In this video I want to talk about the ongoing training you undertake once you've qualified as a first officer and they let you loose on one of those shiny jets or turboprops that you've always wanted to fly. See, unlike many professions, aviation puts its pilots and cabin crew through what's called recurrent training. For pilots, this is every 6 months. Now, usually we eagerly await the publication of our rosters, as I talk about in another video, but twice a year we groan with despair as we see ourselves down for another simulator duty. You see, some pilots see recurrent training as an opportunity to lose their jobs, but it really isn't. It's an opportunity to practice the skills you don't get to use on a day-to-day basis flying the line. With the right attitude, you should come away from your time in the sim feeling more confident to do your job, more able to handle whatever situations you may face on the line. And as a first officer, you also have the opportunity to practice command skills, taking the lead as PF when the instructor chucks a dual hydraulic failure in your direction. So, what's involved in recurrent training? So usually you get a training brief explaining the systems and procedures that will be practiced on that particular detail. There will be a schedule of items that need to be encountered on a rotational basis for regulatory purposes, such as pilot incapacitation, manual thrust flight and approaches, and certain system failures and so on. Also, every 12 months you have to revalidate your instrument rating. And they usually do that on day 1, followed by various exercises on day 2 that may be determined by events that have occurred on the line to other pilots. You'll also have to requalify for LVPs, low visibility procedures. Just because the autopilot can fly an aeroplane, a Cat 3 approach in fog doesn't mean you can. You have to train for that kind of thing. On the half-yearly sim, depending on your company's training program, you may undergo what's called LineOriented Evaluation, or LOE. These sessions are run as a normal crew, with the captain likely taking the lead as he or she would on the line for real. The instructor would play the role of anyone you need them to be: cabin crew, engineer, air traffic control, and so on. So there's no training as such. The instructor just sits back and watches as they introduce various events such as minor system failures, bad weather, medical emergencies, bomb threat, etc. And just see how you handle it. And then on day 2 there will be the opportunity to practice any aspects of your performance the instructor thinks you'll benefit from. The LOE takes place of the annual line check, which is often a waste of time, particularly for first officers, because in general in a line check the training captain sits on the jump seat and just watches a normal day out with both pilots operating to SOPs. It's not particularly useful. The sim session, on the other hand, replicates the line check, but in a controlled environment where the trainer can introduce a variety of issues for you to deal with. It's a much more useful exercise. So the instrument rating revalidation. So you have to do an engine failure at V1, or between V1 and VR, to take that all the way up to the hold, where you'll prepare for a single engine approach. One of them will be a manually flown single engine ILS, the other will be a non-precision approach, though this probably will be done with the autopilot. There's a single engine go around to do and a single engine landing. One of the reasons the emphasis is on single engine work in instrument rating renewal is because, if you recall from your aircraft performance studies, if you've got that far, then there's no safety factor applied to a takeoff performance in the event of an engine failure. Net performance equals gross performance, which means it's literally 50-50 whether you will achieve minimum performance standards, in other words, net performance. So you need to get it right, and you need to be able to handle the aircraft with a little bit of skill. You'll also fly a sit and a star and a hold, but most of that will probably be with the autopilot, and the FMC will compute the whole for you. Occasionally there may be, from time to time, a requirement for you to manually compute and fly these procedures, but not often. And don't forget, you'll have someone next to you doing the radio and the checklists. So once you've mastered controlling the aircraft during the engine failure and on one engine, the rest is mostly procedural. So that's the kind of thing you'll do every 6 or 12 months for the rest of your flying career. If you join a company with a mature training culture, then the recurrent training will be just that, training. Use it to improve your skills and develop your confidence, because that's what it's designed to do. That's it for this video. Hope you've taken something from it. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.